Hello YouTube, it's Ian here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we're going to be doing another manga review. Today we're going to be looking at, another light novel review, and today we're going to be looking at Didn't I Say to Make My Abilities Average in the Next Life Volume 2. This is written by Funa, and it's illustrated by Itsuki Akata, who does a great job. The art style here is gorgeous, it's so funny, it's so cute, and I really, really enjoy it. This is also published by 7 Seas, as you guys can see right there, and there. And the demographic is shonen, based on the adaptation manga. And the genres here are isekai, fantasy, slice of life to an extent. And there's also an element of moe, cute girls doing cute things. And I don't necessarily think that that's a genre, but it is kind of like a trope that happens a lot in this series. But also it just happens a lot in Funa's series anyways. And in terms of adaptation, it has both an anime and a manga. And the anime, I think, is different from the storylines in the light novel. I think it might follow the original publication from Naru more closely than usual. I'm not too sure though. I could be wrong. So be aware of that. Do your own research before you watch the series and complain about it not being similar to the light novel. I personally don't care. I don't really watch anime all that much anyways. And yeah, right off the bat, this is a 5 out of 5 series. It's just really, really enjoyable. This volume was great. And the premise is basically that Mile, or Adele, and the Crimson Vow, her group of hunters, are full-fledged hunters now, and they have to start going on adventures. And so they decide to do so, right? And before that happens, there's this side story where the king and the princess, specifically the Princess Morena, I think, which Mile saved in the first volume, want to know more about Mile, right? And so while that's happening, they go talk to Mile's old friends from Eklund Academy, where she studied before she went to hunter school. And as that's happening, Mile and the Crimson Vow are going on a lot of different adventures. So there you go. That's what happens in this volume. That's the premise of this volume. So in terms of the plot line, we get the introduction with Morena and getting all of that stuff done. And then we transition over to the Crimson Vow and see them having their first day of work. And so they need to get new materials, new tools to be able to go out. And then they eventually decide to go rock lizard hunting. The rock lizards are basically giant monitor lizards that happen to be very powerful and very strong, and that average people really couldn't fight, but special types of hunters or hunters of a certain rank can. And so they go and do that themselves. And eventually they manage to deal with this. They also fight some golems and shit. And then they take on an escort mission that turns into a major battle. There's some political implications there. And then some side story stuff on the side, right? And the plotline is actually really, really enjoyable, really good. I really enjoy just seeing Mile just deal with her classmates and her friends having to deal with Mile because she's really dumb. Like, she's a hyper intelligent and hyper capable person, but she's also really stupid. And so it's really great and really funny. It's really cute. I just really enjoy the plotline because it has a lot of serious moments built into all of the cutesy slice of life stuff. And so Funa manages to balance this out really, really well and manages to make it feel very relaxing to read, even when there are tension-filled moments. And I really, really enjoy that as someone that feels a lot of stress from, what goes around in his life. Sitting down and reading something that has real life kind of like stressful situations. I mean, fantasy worlds don't really have real life stressful situations, but stressful situations that are handled really calmly and generally in a more relaxing fashion is really great. So I really, really enjoy how Funa manages to balance these two things out. So yeah, in terms of characters, we have the same as before. We get the introduction of Lenny, who is the daughter of the people that run the inn where the Crimson Vow stays. And she happens to end up being a very constant character in their lives, which is great. We have Layla, I think is her name, who is the clerk for the guild that the Crimson Vow likes talking to. That's nice. We get Bart, which is the leader of the Roaring Dragon Breaths, I think is what they're called, or the Dragon Breaths, something like that, which are the other, one of the major teams of hunters that helps them on the escort mission. And then Morena, who is the third princess of the country they live in. So very interesting stuff. We get to meet them and we get to interact with them in certain ways. And it's good. I really enjoy all of these characters that are introduced. The only one that is relevant is Lenny, and Morena to an extent is also relevant as well. Layla and Bart are just kind of window dressing characters, like they're just there to flesh out the fact that there has to be more people, but they really aren't major characters, but they happen to have, something going for them anyway, so it's fun. And I quite like the character development as well. We get to learn a lot about Reina in this volume, so that's really interesting. We basically are getting the backstory to all of the other girls in the following volumes, so that's pretty good. In terms of world building, though, there's a lot of stuff happening in this volume. Specifically, we get introduced to the notion of hunter parasites, which are people that take advantage of the fact that hunters are somewhat honor bound to help when they see situations occurring on the road. And so merchants that don't want to pay for escort mission duties just hang out around hunters that are traveling in a direction in order to avoid having to pay them, but still get the benefits of having their help. So it's kind of interesting. We get introduced to that. We get that explained, and then we get to deal with it in the story. And then we get the introduction of a lot of rock-type animals, and they're really not actually rock-type animals. Like, they don't have rock magic. They're just animals that live in rocky terrain. But they do happen to have some element of like special things to them, which is interesting. The most important one being the rock lizards that they go hunting, right? Then we also get introductions to how they deal with bad requests or when requests are done incorrectly and stuff like that, which is good. And then we get a little bit of politics here with a different kingdom called the Albarn Kingdom that is next to the kingdom where they stay. And so it's pretty interesting. There's these this platoon of soldiers that end up acting like bandits in order to gain some money and some things from merchants going into a specific town. So it's pretty interesting. I quite like it. I think that the world building is really good, really solid. There's quite a lot of it in this volume, so that's good. In terms of the artwork, it's so cute. It's really, really good. I don't really want to show you guys any because, there's been a lot of issues with people getting their channels taken down lately for showing artwork, and I don't really want to deal with that, so there we go. In terms of fan service, though, there is a little bit of fan service. There's not much, honestly. It's maybe not even fan service for like adults. It might be if you're like a 14-year-old boy, but like it's a little bit, it's just there. They do mention boobies and stuff like that, so be aware of that, but it is not really anything all that important. In terms of a rating, it's a 5 out of 5. It's so enjoyable, so relaxing, so good. It's just really, really cute, and it really makes me feel really nice. It makes me feel very relaxed when I read this, so I quite like that. And it's also really easy to read, so it's really, really good for that as well. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought, and thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.